Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to have some Division 20 ranked online gameplay in two separate weight classes. I think we're going to have the flyweight division to start with using Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and we're going to go to the midweight division after using Kevin Holland. And so before we get into the actual breakdown of the gameplay and what the purpose of this video is about, I just want to say a huge thank you lately to everyone that's been supporting the channel, both the streams and the uploads. I've been trying to stream a lot more since I've had more time at home, and it seems to be going very well. You guys seem to be enjoying it. I'm doing a lot of subscriber fights. I might start uploading some of them. I've got a couple good ones, and yeah, if there's any content suggestions, please let me know in the comments below. If you're another content creator and want to fight, or just a subscriber in general, then let me know. I've been trying to collab a lot more. Recently I've been trying to reach out to a couple different YouTubers to set up a best of 3. I'd already have one uploaded at this point with UFC Goated X22, and that seemed to go down quite well. So yeah, if there's any YouTubers you can think that'd like to collaborate, just let me know in the comments and I'll get around to doing that. And yeah, in this this fight here, I believe this guy was ranked. I don't even think he was ranked. I think it was Division 0. I don't know if this is like a alternate account, because the guy was really good, and he used obviously Valentina Shevchenko, who she just is the best fighter in this weight class, probably at the moment the best female fighter on the planet. I can see her probably, depending on if Nunes wins the rematch with Pena, I can see her trying to get 2 belts, and she deserves it. She's so dominant at flyweight. I don't see any girl even coming close. And yeah, so this isn't a favourable matchup. Obviously I'm going to have to strike, but my opponent's doing such a good job of just attacking my leg, going to the body, going to the head. And the purpose of this video is really talking about the importance of submissions, even if you are using someone that's predominantly a stand-up fighter, or if in general that you don't look for submission finishes, you just want to stand, because often or not you will come up against opponents that will look to go to the ground, and as long as you have that in your back pocket, if the fight isn't going your way, it can really turn it around. And that's what you're going to see in the fights displayed in this video. You're going to see that my opponent's outworking me, outclassing me, getting the better of me on the feet, and for the one split second it goes to the ground, you'll see that the submission changes the whole fight. And I think that's why people should really work on mastering particular submissions. Obviously, if you've watched my content before, you'll know that there's a lot of submissions that I use, but I've got my favourites. Obviously the Kimura from side control, which then transitions to the armbar itself, and these are 2 submissions that I really master, because when I look to grapple, I look to dominate in side control. So I know that if I get my opponent there, as long as I'm in side control and the fighter I'm using has that Kimura option available, the fight is never over, no matter how badly damaged or how hurt I am. And the other one is the armbar from a full guard. So in my personal opinion, I think these 2 are the submissions that you should work on if you're a striker, because often if someone takes you down, they'll get into full guard, and if for whatever reason you get out of submission and end up in side control, you can look to attack the Kimura. But yeah, as you see, first round there, my opponent just absolutely dominating me. There's not much more that can be said. My opponent's just doing a very good job. You can tell that my opponent's a very skilled player, which is why I was confused to why am I matching up against someone in such a, well, not even ranked, but I'm assuming this is an alt account. It's someone that wants to hop on, not be known who it is, and just grind. And yeah, we got the stun off this round. So although my opponent is dominating, I'd say my opponent is clearly getting the better of me. You see he lands a beautiful head kick there, just great combinations. I am finding some success on the feet, but at the moment I've taken too much damage. It won't be much before my opponent gets another knockdown. No matter how well I do, unless I catch my opponent with something that, you know, just extremely powerful, like a head kick or a perfectly timed knee when he's shooting for a takedown. But obviously these are all hopes. This is just me hoping that this happens. But yeah, as you can see, my opponent, just great work from my opponent. And sometimes, you know, these are the fights you really learn from, is fights you get outclassed in. And as you can see there, just gets the stun easy, applying the pressure. I'm trying to move my head, but I was obviously clearly doing it a bit too much. Good knees, I'm trapped here against the fence, trying to rotate away slowly without using too much stamina. Hits my body, goes to my head. Just doing an absolute good job of not just targeting one area. And somehow, some way, we're able to survive. We sway here, and this is a massive moment in the fight because my opponent is without a doubt dominating me. As you can see, that beautiful knockdowns he's getting. But right here, right now, I may be able to pull something off. So you can see, denying these transitions, and Joanna is nowhere near the level Chechenko is on the ground. Okay, Valentina is leaps and bounds better than Joanna on the ground, especially when it comes to submissions and grappling overall, because Valentina is just excellent in that department. But you can see what I'm doing here. I'm being patient, and I'm just looking to avoid receiving too much damage, seeing where my opponent's trying to go, and I'm trying to get these denials. We managed to get my opponent back here, deny, and then we shoot for an armbar. And the reason this catches so many people off guard is, especially in this instance here, where I'm using someone like Joanna, obviously I need to stand up. That's the main thing I need to do. So when I shoot for this submission here, it catches my opponent immediately off guard. And as you can see, it's fairly even, but eventually, you know, we'll end up getting the finish. And even if we didn't and my opponent rotated away, that threat is still there. And this is why I'm saying that I believe it's very, very important for you to master at least 1 or 2 submissions, or by master I mean be at a level where you're confident enough to perform against high level players, because it can change the fight. And that's what won me that fight, because if we got back to the feet, my opponent's beating me straight away. There's not even a chance I have unless I catch my opponent with something lucky. And coming into this fight here, you'll see I'm coming up against the Vettori. I'm trying to use Kevin Holland. And one thing to note is that Kevin Holland is actually extremely underrated. Can't wait to see what he's like at welterweight. But in terms of the game, his ground game is actually fairly good. And I think he's got really good jiu-jitsu in real life as far as I'm aware. And we're coming up against a grapple-heavy Vettori, the Orc, as Darren Till would call him. And you can see here my opponent's doing a good job. Gets me in the clinch, he's trying to back me towards the fence. But I'm reluctant, I'm throwing strikes back. And as you see, he's just keeping me here. We eventually break. And quickly, just a little side note, I've recorded 2 subscriber request videos, a Damien Meyer one and a Mark DeCasey one, so that should be out shortly to the subscriber that requested that. As you can see, we denied the takedowns. I went for a turn-in takedown, but my opponent done a good job of denying that. I was trying to counter his grappling by grappling myself. Well, you can see my opponent's pressuring me a lot here, like being very, very aggressive. Gone for 2 takedowns early, but didn't have much success. But even in the strike, you see my opponent swaying the straight so well, constantly sidestepping. And this is another very good opponent. He was extremely annoying to play against just because of the way he kept swaying. I really did feel the power difference in this fight as well. I mean, look, just the size difference. Like, look how stocky Vettori looks. And for some reason, I just felt like the power was extremely different. Trying to keep my combination simple and short. I don't want to overextend and get caught with anything. And I know that in the back of my mind, my opponent will go for a takedown eventually. My opponent was smart there and turned the other way. As you can see, as soon as we're on the ground, tried to get me into the crucifix. And I could tell what my opponent was trying to do here. We get to full guard straight away. I'm not sure if my opponent knew that Kevin Holland had that transition there. And that transition's super good, because even if you fake it, most opponents bite on it, and then you can just transition a completely different way. And that's one thing, is Holland, he's got a very good submissions. Whenever I have used him in the fight, it's gone to the ground. I'm very, very confident with him. As you can see right now, I'm really just trying to limit the damage. I'm denying the transitions. And it's a 5-round fight, so I'm not overly worried, because obviously I've still got loads of rounds to work with. My opponent does end up on top here. And right now it's just about blocking and trying to limit that damage, which, as you can see, is what I do. I accidentally give my opponent my back here. Good deny there. I really didn't mean to do that. It's an incredibly dangerous position, but with how long there is on the clock, you know, I wasn't overly worried, but I didn't want to take damage unnecessarily. But yeah, my opponent's done a good job working and getting control time, some damage with the takedown attempt he got. So it's definitely something that caught my eye. I didn't feel overly threatened, but my opponent definitely has the ability to control me if need be on the ground. And of course, using Holland, Ideally, I want to be on the feet, but I know that eventually it's going to get back to the ground. So I'm just being patient. And coming into round 2, as you can see, it took quite a big hit to my stamina. So I'm going to try really tax my opponent's body. My opponent's done an extremely good job of just swaying the strikes, like moving left and right, constantly. So it's a bit hard to hit him with the straight strikes I'm throwing. As you can see, he dodged it again. And I really should have adapted at this point to throw more hooks. And just as I say that, I go to the body, he lands an uppercut, and of course it does a significant amount of damage, gets the stun. I noticed that he tried to go for the takedown there again. Beautiful overhand. I rarely get hit with that, so yeah, my opponent threw it at a perfect time, done a lot of damage. And this is where my head health is really starting to deteriorate. I know it's not going to be much longer before, you know, my opponent gets another stun. Good job there of landing our own uppercut, which done a lot of damage. And again, that was just well timed. Good sway there. Tried to go to the hook to see if we can get another stun, but my opponent predicted it. As you can see, now he's throwing the double elbows. And I'm sort of waiting for the clinch attempt or the takedown attempt. As you can see, clinches there. We deny the takedown attempt, clinches, and I know he's going to push me towards the fence, which is why I stop here, trying to land strikes on my own to deter him from pushing me back. And this is one thing you've sort of got to do when you're against the fence, is try to stop your opponent, but he gets me there, and he takes me down, even though I thought I had denied this takedown attempt. And here, of course, we know what everyone's going to go for in ranked. It's the submission I try not to use too often unless I really need to, just because of how, you know, strong it is. And yeah, he gets me in the rear naked choke, and you know, this is extremely dangerous. I'm trying to be patient, trying to not be too predictable, and of course the main thing is to try to get out of this and capitalise from whatever position we get in. As you see, it's very close right here, but I believe we end up escaping. Like, I mean, look how tight that is, but it's literally razor thin. But fortunately, we get out of it. And from here we end up in a very dominant position, which is side control, which is a position, like I said, when I look to grapple, it's exactly where I want to be. We get the deny, I look at the clock, there's like a minute 23 left, that's enough to finish the submission if need be. And we go for the Kimura and chain it to the armbar. And this is where I stress the importance is of getting comfortable with certain submissions. I knew that Kevin had it, I knew that my opponent was low on stamina, and as you see, I didn't waste time on it. I know that it takes me around a minute to get the submission. That's what I had to work with. Had I not have gone for this, I probably would have lost the fight in the next round. But fortunately enough, we get the submission. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video today. And yeah, hope you got the purpose, which is to master certain submissions, as it can really elevate your game. Even if you're not looking to grapple, you can get the odd win in here and deter your opponent from taking you down. Please like, comment and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.